The Project. Kuwait. Learn. Live. In today's episode of The Project, Mahdi, Meg, and Liam sit down to talk about the holiday season. Yes, the next 3 to 4 weeks are going to be a struggle. We give you one simple tip and trick so that you can maintain your health and well-being throughout the holiday season. No, it is not a crash diet, and it is not going to the gym to burn 5,000 calories in one day. It's something very simple and just requires a little bit of discipline and some of your time to sit down and listen to this episode. All this and more in today's episode. Welcome to The Project. In this episode of The Project, we are going to have a lot of fun.
This is going to be so much fun.
So much fun.
I
know.
Liam's in a mood today. Liam's
I'm
going
not
to
in
kill
a mood.
me. He's just mad at me, dude.
Grinch.
Yeah, I listened to one of our other episodes and we had an argument.
And he can't squat as much as me either, so, I mean.
Nobody
It's tough.
believes that,
It's
Mahdi.
It's tough. Speaking of squatting, if you want to see Liam squat with butterfly wings on, then go over to iTunes and leave us a review. And I will make sure that he will squat with butterfly wings on or something like that, maybe a tutu. All right? Live on Instagram.
Just a tutu?
Just a tutu. Just a tutu, yeah. Hey, man, you got the glutes for it.
That'll be interesting.
Haram. All right.
Yeah. Well, today we're talking about the holidays, right?
Holidays are here.
Yeah, we stuff our faces. I do, at least. You know? Well, I used to. I still do somewhat.
There's holidays though, and like you've got to invest in the holiday spirit a little bit. Like I'm used to like mince pies, turkey, everything like that. Like
Turkey's awesome.
Cranberry sauce. Like I eat like a whole bowl of cranberry sauce.
Yeah, but
I make a good cranberry sauce, by the way.
well, we know where we're going for Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, through the holidays, I think people, like, they kind of give up at this time because they know there's going to be all the temptation of all the food and everything around. We look forward to indulging in those things, but it does get to be a stressful time for people on how to navigate that balance of still enjoying things and not feeling restricted, and then not getting to the end of the year and feeling like you've set yourself back from all the work that maybe you've been trying to put in throughout the year.
Yeah, well, I mean, most people, when you loosen up the belt buckle and just kind of kick back and relax, that's when you kind of drop off from the gym. You drop off from everything, and I think it's just tough. It's tough to manage. It's a tough part, tough time. So
I think there's a lot of family around, though, isn't it? There's a lot of other kind of time priorities that kind of come up. So, like, you might have family flying in from different countries and things like that. Then you're kind of feeling that you've got to be around them and you've got to relax with them, you've got to host them or whatever it might be. Or you might be going to a different country, and so you're kind of out of your comfort zone. So you're not feeling like you have to go to the gym or keep going running or whatever it might be. So, yeah, it's quite tough to get your priorities straight.
But health is always a priority at the end of the day. I mean, at least in my opinion, over the past few years, it's always been top of my list. So I try to set at least like a mini goal of, okay, if I'm going to, loosen up and eat a ton of food during this time period, I'm going to make sure that I'll get some quality food, and I'll have the junk food occasionally. You can't restrict yourself. What is it? Deprivation or depravity breeds something. I don't know. I'll leave it for Meg.
This is another Henry Ford.
I know. I'll leave it
Another
for Meg.
Henry
I'm
Ford
gonna leave
quote?
I'll leave it for Meg to figure out. But at the end of the day, if you deprive yourself, you're going to want it more. And then when you do get to it, you're going to binge on it. And when you binge on it, that's just even worse because then you feel like crap. But I just kind of I try and stick to that 80-20. The 80%. Try to keep it clean 80% of the time. 20% of the time, I'll just all right, I'll have that apple pie. I'm not going to say no. I love apple pie.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much the same as well. Like, I always try and stay active, like try to stay moving around as much as possible around Christmas and around New Year, or any holiday times, to be honest. Even if I'm away during summer for a week, I'll just try and stay moving, stay walking, mainly because I like going away and enjoying the food. Like, if you're going back home, if that apple pie, it's not just an apple pie like from some supermarket. It's like a homemade mum's apple pie.
It's good.
And also because my mum's taking the time to cook it, or whoever's taking the time to make it. Like, you should be able to enjoy it and relax and actually kind of consider that you're around friends, you're around family, and just kind of just relaxing. But you kind of earn that time by going and still trying to get your workout in and everything like that. And just instead of thinking that you've got to get your workout in around normal work time, then it's getting that in around like normal family time. And just making sure that you spend time on trying to do things like take the family out, take the dog out, whatever it might be.
Well, you're the most on point with your nutrition. I mean, when we were over at your house, I remember seeing you break out the almonds in the little container things. And that's like, dude, I mean, you're very on point with your nutrition. I think it's awesome. And anyone can learn a lot from you, especially with that.
So I was Five Guys Kuwait member of the month last month.
All right.
So
thanks, Liam.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Point.
All right. So
most of the time, this is 80-20.
Dude.
Like in general,
80% of the time is Five Guys. 20% is almonds measured out in a cup.
I saw you break out the almonds. Didn't you see that? Did you?
I did not see that. I think you're making shit up now.
I was not making shit up.
Carly served up green juice as well, didn't she? Green juice.
She did. Wait, am I making the almond thing up?
No, we had. We've got tons of
I
those
swear
spots.
to God, I saw him like break out little almonds. And I was like, that's such a good idea. I was like, I need to do that.
Yeah, I mean, but that's 80-20 though. Like generally, like even down to my day sometimes is 80-20. If I am around and about and I have to get some food in, I know it's way better to eat something that maybe people wouldn't think of as so good for you. It's better for me to eat that than to not eat at all. Like I've got to maintain lean muscle mass. Like I can always kind of...
You have to know what level you're playing at. And yours is at, a performance level to some degree. Where people, if we're talking general health and wellness.
He's got a prettier body than me. Sorry.
But, I worry about performance way more than abs, like ultimately, and that's what it comes down to over kind of holiday times as well. Like I know that actually, like I want to get into the gym and I want to have energy in the gym. Like I don't really want to binge eat just in one meal of my day or whatever. Like I want to make sure that I'm kind of maintaining lean muscle mass, and as we said, kind of not getting rid of the gains and the kind of progress that I've made over the course of the year just by not eating properly for 2, 3, 4 days or whatever it might be. So I know that actually sometimes, especially with rich food, like maybe you won't eat enough during those times. Like you might feel like you're eating enough because you're eating one big meal and you're stuffed and you can't move and you're in a bit of a food coma after. But actually total calories for the day, especially if you're going working out and like the day before or something, actually you might not be eating enough. So I know that kind of I've got to spread that out, make sure I'm eating good whole food and try not to eat too much processed food to make sure that my appetite stays high so that when I come back, like I haven't got so much kind of time to get back into the swing of things, so that like the next day or the day after that, then I can go straight into a workout.
Yeah. So with, for myself with traveling for holidays and things like that is a big part of it. When you leave your routine, you leave your home, whether that's people coming to you or you're going somewhere, the routine gets disrupted. But in the end, like your health and your fitness doesn't have to be dependent on a gym either. There's lots of options to stay active. I mean, especially if you do have people coming, to visit or you're going somewhere, like that's all the more reason to kind of get out and see what's around and see what's in your new environment and bond with each other. And the same goes with the food. Like you have to think crushing an apple pie, homemade or store-bought or whatever, by yourself on like a Wednesday night is completely different than having apple pie when you're surrounded by family and friends that you haven't seen. You're feeding that connection with people more than you are feeding a craving or a binge or
I'll crush that apple pie
or being bored. Right. Yeah. But you just have to take that into consideration. Right. So for myself and for most people, like when it comes to surviving those big holiday meals, like, like a big meal is coming. And just like you said, not depriving yourself or restricting yourself all week or like punishing yourself. If you're using the workouts as a punishment or you're starving yourself and restricting yourself as a punishment to have that big meal later, that's when you're going to get in trouble and you're going to start binging on all those sweets. And then it's just like, well, I did it today and there's another party tomorrow. Well, I might as well, okay, New Year's, that's when I'll start again.
Yeah.
And it all just kind of gives up. So I think for me, the things that I found the most is making sure that I'm moving, whether I'm able to get to a gym or not. Like, I mean, my family, when I go visit them, they live in the middle of nowhere. There's no gyms around. So you just have to get creative, whether that's going out to shovel the driveway, or, just kind of playing around the house and getting creative with that environment, just moving throughout the day. And if you're cooking and preparing meals, I think I can easily put in 8,000 steps in the kitchen preparing a meal too. That's one big key, is just to find excuses to kind of move throughout the day. Staying hydrated is absolutely another one. During the holidays, it's a lot easier to get dehydrated. There's all kinds of, beverages and treats, and sugar dehydrates you, and salt as well. Salt as well. Exactly. So making sure that you're hydrated, that's going to keep you away from feeling those cravings and things. But the biggest factor, I think, to eliminating some of those cravings and snacking later in the day is making sure the first thing in the morning, I'll just eat something protein heavy, to start my day. If I know a big meal's coming, I'm still going to start my day protein heavy, because I know that what I'm going to be eating the rest of the day is probably going to be less on the protein side. It's going to be more on the carb continuum. And it's going to be, some of that sugar and sweets and protein. It just kind of helps balance out some of those cravings.
But even, I mean, I think it's good that we all kind of agree on the 80-20 principle, so to speak, and like staying active. And I mean, personally, whenever I go on holiday, I try and make sure that I am, like you said, moving. Like when I go back to visit my, sister over in Boston, I always make sure that, if I take the train to her house, not taking an Uber, I'm running to her house. It's about 2 miles. So you get that activity in. And if it's Christmas or, New Year's, like we all know New Year's, that day is kind of like it's spent. You're not going to the gym, most likely, unless you're saying it's your New Year's resolution and you're going to spend, the next day at the gym. But getting that movement in can be done in your hotel room. Yeah, I think the best way to, the body weight stuff is a good way of doing it.
Get creative. Your body can move more ways than just up and down and in a squat.
I actually have a really good way of combating this thing on Christmas Day for me. It's I always made a thing out of actually doing exercise on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Like it was like a thing. So before we had maybe about kind of 4 or 5 years ago, we had this big hill outside our house. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go do hill sprints on Christmas Day when everyone else is not doing it.
Get up early and get it in.
I'm going to get up and I'm going to get it in.
Awesome.
And everyone is there walking their dogs and they're like, what the hell is this guy doing?
Yeah.
But then what happened the next year was my mum was like, I'm going to join you.
Yes.
Oh, it's
and
amazing.
So my mum then joined me for a couple of years. And then last year what we actually did was I just went, okay, Mum, instead of a run, I'm going to do 1,000 squats. And she was like, what? Even I was like, what? I kind of said it just for no reason. And she was like, yeah, right, I'll do it.
That's awesome.
Literally, we
That's
just
amazing.
put the headphones on, stood next to each other in the garden. Sorry, and just went put a piece of paper with a pen next to it, and we just recorded every 50 squats. We put a notch down, and we kind of race into 1,000.
So you gave your mom rhabdo for Christmas. That's nice.
Yeah.
That's really nice, Leo.
Yeah. So we literally just went, why not? Let's just do 1,000 squats. But then, I think. The next day I was fine, but the day after that, oh my God.
Yeah, no shit.
I was like,
ouch. Okay, I don't recommend the 1,000 squats, but I love the idea of getting the family involved. And same thing. I can say that when I go back home, I definitely help get the family motivated a little bit. And I look forward to those days when the city is going to be kind of quiet or wherever you're going, because it is the holidays and everybody is just at home being lazy. It is a perfect opportunity to kind of get out and move around and bond with other people. I think we connect really well when we're moving with others and kind of sharing that passion with the family. So I think it's great if you can get your family involved.
I kind of get a little bit of a kick out of knowing that no one else is doing it on Christmas Day.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
That feels like, for me, that feels like that kind of extra
one up.
percent. Yeah, extra one up on
It's I got one more workout in it.
But it does.
You can get workouts in any other day, but kind of the high percent we're probably not going to be working out.
99.9.
Yeah.
So I could. But that's just me. That's just me being weird. But my mum's obviously the same. So.
And I think going back to touching on when you talk about with family and things and obligations, there's a lot of parties to go to, or just hosting people and the stress that can bring. And when you get in that time for yourself for that workout, even if you have to get up a little bit early and going for a walk and getting some time, give yourself that to be able to help your sanity when dealing with that. But also with the obligations and things, just know that you still always have the permission to say no. You don't have to go to everything that you're invited to. You don't have to stay the entire time at everything that you're invited to. I think people get kind of wrapped up in that, and they spread themselves thin in trying to please everybody. And I just think that, when it comes to the holidays, you can,
and it's okay to
still
say
choose.
no.
It's totally okay to say no.
It's okay to say no.
And you don't have to
Especially
apologize.
Especially with food.
Yeah,
Especially
yeah.
here. Oh my God.
Yeah.
They'll be like, all right, have a piece of cake. No, I'm good.
Yeah.
No, have a piece of cake. No, okay, fine. You'll break.
Yeah.
But just don't break. Just say, no, I'm good. I'm not going to have a piece of cake right now.
Yeah.
And
you'll get that back when people will be like, "Oh, are you on a diet?" And they'll try to shame. They'll try to shame you into it.
It's
and I learned this from my friend Courtney, and she's right. It totally changes the conversation. It was if you say like, no, I'm choosing not to have it rather than like, I can't have it, people don't know how to respond to that almost. If you're like, no, I'm just choosing not to have that. They're just kind of like, well, like, what do you mean you're choosing not to have it? Like, yeah, like, I don't understand what that even means. Like, and they just kind of back off and leave you alone. And it's like, I know how that makes me feel, or I just don't want that thing. I have permission to eat it and I don't feel guilty about not eating it. And if I wanted it, I would have a bite, but I don't want to.
Yeah, no, that's probably best advice.
Yeah.
I personally, I hate the word diet. I hate when people are like, oh, you're on a diet. I'm like, no, dude, I just try to eat healthy. I just try to eat well. That's it. You know, I don't call it a diet. I just try to eat clean.
For my family one year, I think this is when I was big on the paleo thing, and my dad, he smokes ribs for Thanksgiving. We have like a non-traditional feast.
That actually sounds really good.
It's really good. He hates turkey, and so we never had turkey, but we had like all the sides, you know, the sweet potatoes, the stuffing, and all that kind of stuff. And I was big on paleo at this time. And so I told him, I was like, you make the ribs, I'm making all the sides. And I did everything paleo. So it was like no bread stuffing. It was like I was setting out all the things on the table. Everything was like gluten and dairy free. My dad is just like, where's the stuffing? I'm like, it's right there. It was the Rob Wolf recipe that's got like sweet potato. It's really good. And he was so upset that we didn't have bread stuffing, and he thought that was ridiculous. And then he tried the stuffing and he absolutely loved it. And then afterwards, we were outside playing yard games, and he was like, you know what? I feel like the best that I've ever felt. But I mean, I bring back the bread stuffing now. I let everybody have that. And I kind of let go on those days of the gluten-free stuff. But it was kind of cool just to let people know there are options. There are ways that you can prepare things a little bit differently to where you're not dragging yourself down with all that. But also if like the holidays are the one time out of the year, the day that you know,
loose thing.
Yeah, if you eat some of that stuff, like again, like what are you feeding? You're feeding that kind of connection with other people, and I think it's totally okay.
But I gotta give my mom a shout out. This Thanksgiving, I walk in and she goes, "Yeah, this is organic, that's organic. The corn is not organic, but that's the only thing I couldn't find." And I'm like, "Oh, well, you're learning, Mom.
It's hard here.
Yeah,
it's hard
you're
here.
learning. You're picking it up." And she's like, "Even the turkey, it's like." It's organic, but it didn't have wings. I was like, okay, that's a little weird, but sure.
It's odd.
Doesn't sound right.
No, like Kuwait gets the warped turkeys. Seriously.
They get the what?
They get
the
weird,
warped. Yeah, they get warped
ones.
turkeys. Like it's missing a wing, it's missing something, or.
So where are these turkeys coming from?
They're coming from Butterball and like Norbist or wherever, like the States. But dude, we're just not getting full turkeys.
I'd be concerned about that. I mean, food sourcing is something that is very important.
I will get my mother on this show. And
I mean, I'm talking like eating gluten and dairy is okay.
I'll put her on the phone right now.
Thanksgiving, but not a defective turkey.
How many turkeys? How many defects have you got?
Let's get your mom on the show.
Where's my phone? I'm calling my mother right now.
Let's get her on the show.
Because I don't think you guys believe me.
I just don't think that sounds safe to be eating a turkey that came with like missing limbs.
Like
I imagine.
You want me to call her? I'm calling her right now. If she's probably going to yell at me, she might be asleep, but I'll call her. I'm going to be like, how many turkey you're going to... All right.
Yeah, go for it.
So we're getting Mahdi's mum right on the show now, dialing in.
She just rejected me.
She just straight up
even my own
rejected your call.
Once again, you have the permission to say no.
She genuinely just rejected his call. Okay.
Hey, Ma, I'm putting you on speaker right now. We have a question on the show, all right? Okay, it's just a quick question. You just have to say yes or no, all right? I'm putting you on speaker. All right. So go ahead and ask the question, guys.
Well, I don't understand what the question was. So Kuwait gets defective turkeys, or you had a turkey without a wing, or what's going on with the turkeys that are being brought to Kuwait?
They send all their defective turkeys over here.
Doesn't that scare anybody?
That does scare me.
Are we okay with defective turkeys?
Butterball turkeys minus a wing.
For years.
Like, what happened to the turkey that is missing the wing?
Served us these turkeys?
Yes, I did, and I sent them
she
a
cooked
letter.
it. She sent them a letter.
A free turkey, and I told them I lived in Kuwait, and they said, "Well, do you have a family member?" And I said, "My daughter only uses fresh turkey," so they donated one to a food kitchen.
Oh wow, that's nice.
One without a wing or with a wing?
I won't mention the name, and yeah, it was deformed. It was missing a wing.
Meg's face is priceless right now.
And the skin to cover the place where you insert the stuffing. So we just had this big hole in the back of our chest.
All right, thanks, Ma. I'll call you back later. Bye. I really hope that was recorded.
Dude, I
hope
would
we
be
get
so
that.
concerned about eating that turkey. I'd probably opt out of the turkey. I would have a vegetarian Thanksgiving.
I ate the turkey.
Oh my
I
God.
wasn't saying no to it.
But that's crazy. That's something we need to look into. Like, sourcing of your food is so important, but the fact that they're just chucking their...
What do you think we're getting in Kuwait? You think we're getting like top quality stuff? I highly doubt it.
No, but I mean, like, a defective
Liam's still
turkey.
I swear, I wish I was recording this. You could see how hard this guy's laughing.
I mean, the good that came out of it was that they donated apparently a typical functioning turkey.
Oh God.
One with two wings. Interesting.
Excuse me, sorry. That was probably the most hilarious thing I think we've ever recorded.
I hope and pray to God the sound guy can get that.
To come
that
up.
whole conversation and like.
Huh.
But yeah, no, I mean, if you really look at it, think of it. All right, they're going to send their good turkeys to Europe, right? What are we going to get left with?
I don't know
It's
why.
just like the
Why are they
vegetables.
like? Who thinks that? They're like, oh, we have defective turkeys. Yeah, send them to Kuwait.
Seriously though,
Straight over.
I
but it's like vegetables too. I mean, do you think? Have you ever tried the? Have you tried Kuwaiti?
no,
All right, try Kuwaiti. All right,
I don't want to.
you don't. No, it is. It tastes pretty bad.
Mm.
Like I don't know if I get it if it was from the butcher
Is it
shop.
grass fed?
I don't know what. I highly doubt that.
A plastic grass fed.
Plastic. It's probably plastic. I think the butcher even said, "Yeah, they give them plastic." I'm like, "Oh, okay, sure."
Cool.
Plastic finished,
But it goes back to the
grass
Gulf.
fed, but plastic finished.
But it goes back to the gut. It's probably from that turkey.
Yeah,
Gut health stuff that you always talk about.
yeah,
I mean, you can tell a clear difference between grass fed and grain fed beef.
For sure.
You really can
For
tell
sure.
the difference in the meat.
with poultry as well with birds. I mean, you can tell a difference between ones that are actually saw some sunlight and some that didn't. But you have to be very very concerned about where the food comes from, because if those chickens, those turkeys, that beef, whatever antibiotics and things they're being fed, you eat that meat, you're getting those antibiotics, and that's destroying your gut health. Defective turkeys, that's something to be alarmed.
Well, what about chicken though? You don't eat chicken anymore, but
I don't eat bird anymore, actually. Now I did have a little turkey this year, and what's funny is I've kind of been experimenting with it, but my joint pain was through the roof last week when I was eating leftovers. And there was part of me that was like, is this sugar? Because I've definitely been eating more, sugar during the holiday time. But I have not decreased the amount of sugar that I'm eating really in the last week. But the only thing that's been different now is cutting out the turkey and switching back to like beef, and my joint pain's gone away. I think it's just a bird.
so weird.
I can't do birds.
No,
I can't. They
but
just.
it's so.
But your
weird.
body can
Yeah.
metabolize like proteins very
Yep.
differently, and I think just with the, experience like being susceptible to getting salmonella twice. I mean, I think my body's just not meant to eat
chicken or birds,
dirty
or
birds.
anything that
foul.
flies.
They're
Dude,
foul.
I told you about the chicken thing. I cut out chicken. I've cut out chicken for the
Yeah.
last 2 weeks, and I felt great.
Yeah.
I've like the red meat's probably not good for me, but
Again, it's sourcing. I think the red meat, like it's just the sourcing of it. I think that's where a lot of the concern comes from when you hear, a lot of people talking about the warnings against it. It's just what was the quality of that animal's life, and where were they fed, and then how long did it take to get to you, and those kinds of things. I don't think red meat needs to be demonized, but it's just it's the source of where you get your things. Yeah.
I mean, like big guy over there, I eat Elevation Burger. That's my burger of choice.
Yeah.
I had 2 of them last night, and I make my
Trying to get that sponsorship.
Yeah, I make myself. I make myself feel
between
better.
Five Guys and Elevation, it's going to be tough.
I get it
Pick
lettuce
a
wrapped, so I'm
side.
like, all right, this is good. But
Yeah.
no, I mean, I love that you always talk about the sourcing of food.
Mm.
This is such an important aspect that people just don't remember and they don't pay attention to. And it just sucks over here because we are limited with our options. It was
Right.
like what Dr. Neil was talking about the other day.
Mm-hmm.
He said, you guys are very limited over here. And it's true.
It takes a
really is.
long time for the food to get here. I mean, the things that it has to go through
And then
just
you get
to
a perfectly ripe tomato.
yeah.
And it stays ripe in your fridge for like 3 weeks.
But there's-
That's not normal.
That's not normal.
That is
but
not
there's
normal.
but there's things too, like the micronutrients that we get in fruits and vegetables. I mean, as soon as those things are taken off the vine, that nutrient decreases, and so you're not getting the high quality that you could be from if they were fresh or if they were grown here. It's just you have to pay attention to where that food comes from, the sourcing of it. And it's sad that we have to label things as organic. Like You know what I mean? The way it grows should just be, we should just be able to call a tomato, but you have to call it an organic tomato because there's so many other shitty tomatoes out there.
I wonder how much of that is BS. I wonder how much of the whole BS is being oversold.
I mean, it's the same thing with like free range eggs and things like that. I mean, you have to be, I'll probably tag the article where you can find on that, but like the label reading of eggs and free range and all the different labels that they can put on those to make them seem like they're, happy chickens, happy eggs. It's not necessarily that. Like a free range could mean that they just have this tiny little square patch and they don't really.
They just go around in circles.
Yeah, none of that. They're not actually free range. But going back to like chickens, you can tell on the skin color. If you're buying a whole chicken, if it has a yellowish tint on the skin, it saw some sunlight. That's a good chicken usually. And egg yolks.
So
that's one.
Got a tan.
Basically, if it's got a tan, yeah. Vitamin D, yeah. If it's got a little tan, that's good. And so you see like those real pale like ones that just looks. I see them and I'm just like, ugh.
Shit, those are the only chickens I've been eating. Man. Like those
bad chicken. If you're cooking your chicken and that white like pus stuff comes out,
don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. Really?
Don't call it pus.
Yeah.
Okay, so for all of our listeners,
it's awful.
Cooking chicken with white pus.
Hormones are real.
Yeah, and just step away from it. Just step away.
Yeah. But your egg yolks too. A bright yellow or orange egg yolk is a happy chicken.
I've seen the differences with
the pale yellow ones. It's a sad chicken. You don't want it. Has bad energy. You don't want that.
But there is a taste difference.
Totally, and it's a nutrient difference. Yep. It's the pale yellow ones. I'm telling you, there's a sad chicken that is deficient and was probably fed some things that you don't want in your body.
Yeah. So, but going back to the holiday season.
Yes. Stay hydrated.
Yeah, stay hydrated, and the 80-20, keep movement up and in, and just like, just
the other thing,
any other time of the year, I guess.
Yeah. And the other thing that helps too, and this is just a year-round practice, and that's the thing is like getting through the holidays, it's usually a year-round practice. Like the 80-20 rule we talked about, like that's just kind of typical of how you should, I don't want to say should eat, but just how you eat. 80% full or 80% of the time you're eating your fresh stuff, 20% you let yourself indulge. But again, like eating slowly and giving yourself that time to check in of how the things make you feel, or when you're actually full. If you're just snacking all day and grazing and eating fast, I mean, you're going to keep going and going and going. So whether you have a plate full of cookies and dessert, or you want a plate full of a salad or a plate full of meat, like fine, eat whatever you want. Just try to slow down the pace a little bit and actually enjoy it and get in touch with when you are full.
Appreciate the food. Don't just mow it.
Yeah.
I just mow.
Apple pie.
I inhale.
I've had to learn not to. I used to eat so fast, like all the time. My mom used to have a go at me all the time. Like from my earliest memory, she used to have a go at me.
For eating fast?
For eating
mine was
fast.
always like, I eat fast because mine was always like, hurry up, you're too slow. We got to get you to practice. You got to get to school. It's just always fast. But then
I went to like a private school where we got given dinners.
Yeah.
And man, if you don't eat your food fast, someone's going to take it.
So, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
We'd have like Magnum ice creams at the end, and you can only go and get one like when you finished your food, and so everyone's like, boom,
get that ice cream.
Bad
food habits. Yeah.
But no, like generally from eating slower, then I find that I feel a lot better. I can kind of digest my food a lot better. I know when I'm full.
Yeah.
And ultimately then it's way easier to keep a good body composition because you might be eating 200 or 300 less calories in a day.
Right.
So rather than having to cut those 200 or 300 calories out, like you're just eating a little bit less than you would usually, and so then you're seeing that you're going to lose fat and you're going to gain lean muscle.
Yep.
So there we go.
Always a good thing. I mean, what about your resolutions? what do you guys have for a resolution? I had to bring
that was a solid segue.
Sweet transition. I was like,
we're creeping up on like the 30-minute mark here. So like, hey, let's get into it.
Let's get into resolutions real quick because
someone asked me.
Mahdi, what's your resolution?
Resolutions are BS.
Okay, why?
Absolute BS. Because every day should be a resolution. You should always be striving to be better every day.
Mm-hmm.
When I quit smoking, it wasn't a New Year's resolution. I actually quit smoking on December 4th.
Hey, nice.
That's going to be my
How many years?
1 year.
Oh, okay.
Which is
good. That's good.
No, but dude, that's a
big deal.
It's a big deal. I've been smoking since I was like 13 years old.
We should make him a chip.
Got a little chip, a little badge or something.
I actually thought of like on December 4th of smoking a cigarette.
Why? Just to see how it makes you feel?
Just for the
retest.
Yeah. No, in all honesty, like the smell didn't
same,
bother
better,
me.
or worse. Sorry.
No, but I mean, it smell didn't bother me or anything, but lately it's just I've been grossed out by it.
Yeah.
And it's, it's good. I mean, I'm starting to hate it, which is great, but every day should be a resolution. Like every day you should have a goal in mind. If you're moving, you're always better off moving forward than moving backward, or thinking, oh, I'm going to start the podcast on January 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Why the hell are you going to wait till January 1st? Right?
Right.
Why are you going to wait till the new year?
Right.
Just go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah. I mean, there's running out of things to say there. No, I would highly agree with you, man. I think ultimately...
Wait, hold on. Is he agreeing with me?
Yeah.
He actually agreed with me?
Timestamp.
Yeah.
We'll timestamp that. Liam agrees with Mahdi.
Just because you should be trying to strive to be like just even a little bit better every day. Like just trying to do something that maybe takes you out your comfort zone that you hadn't done before or something, rather than just sitting there watching Netflix, basically. And yeah, there is no reason why you should wait until New Year's. I think generally it's just because of the reasons that we talked about around people's priorities over that Christmas time, that kind of holiday time. They're thinking, oh, well, I'm with the family now. I want to kind of chill out and everything. Then January 2nd, I won't be with the family, so I can start that things. But actually, like, why not just take the dog out for a walk, go out with the kids, do something now, and you can start burning calories now. And then actually, it's going to be way easier for you to kind of get back on track after January 2nd. Yeah, you may have like a time at January 2nd that you're like, okay, I'm going to go back to the gym then. But why not start making a commitment to yourself to moving more now instead of waiting until that time?
Yeah, that goes right back to our motivation and inspiration episode, that taking the action is what brings about that more. So yeah, if you're going to put that action off, then it's going to be easier. If you're going to say, well, next week is better. Or when this is done, then this is better. It's the same thing of saying like, when I get the car, then I'll be happy. When I get the house, then I'll be happy. When I get this job, then I'll be happy. And then you get those things and then you're like, well, shit, I'm still unhappy, And it's the same thing of just this future thing. Like you have to start taking action. And again, it's like, that doesn't mean, I think where people run into the problem with resolutions is at the beginning of the year, they see this clean slate and they have these big goals that they want, and they're kind of burnt out, with the being lazy and eating like crap through the holidays. So they're like ready to go 100%. And that's what they try to do, is they try to go 0 to 100. And then what happens with New Year's resolutions? Most people drop off by February. Do they even make it to the end of January?
I think they make
2 weeks in, like they're done because they've tried to revamp everything.
Most gym signups are in January.
Right.
January, February is like peak time.
Yeah.
Especially for like the PTs, I'm assuming too. And then it just dies after that, right? Till about March or April.
If you're a good coach, you're consistent all year.
Well, yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Ooh, to all you crappy coaches out there, Meg just
the time of year has not worried me one bit.
It's more seasonal. It is seasonal.
Everybody.
I say in the UK, it's definitely seasonal.
Dude, that was an awesome
sure.
call out. Good for you. Good for you.
You're a good coach. You don't have to worry.
Here is way easier than in the UK. In the UK, is way more seasonal. Whereas here, because you have different time, people traveling and things like that, like there's usually a lot of people in the country. In the UK, like you do, because in the winter we have a lot of like seasonal depression, things like that. Like why, like people actually don't have the energy to get to the gym or don't have the energy to work out because they're not looking after themselves in other ways. Like so yeah. But then that January time is massive in the UK. And then you do get that little drop off around February, March time. Yeah. And then people realize that summer is coming. As soon as the first day, one day of sun comes.
Yeah. They want to jump back in on it.
Everyone is back.
But again, it's the same thing. So the same mentality. Then I got to go 0 to 100. I got to get this in because now it's like, I don't have time. I ran out of time. I wasted all this time. But anytime you try to revamp everything, so they're trying to revamp all their meals in the day. They're trying to work out every single day. And then what happens is something's got to give and you crumble because you just completely stressed yourself out. When we go back to talking about that stress load of, you've put on the physical stress, you've put on the digestive stress, you've put on the mental stress, the emotional stuff, everything. So you have to just take it one step at a time. For most people, they need to understand it's going to take you a year to probably get to, if we're talking like serious, like weight management, it's probably going to take you a year to get to, your best health. I think for anybody, even for me, I would say if I committed in a year, it's just, and it's taking it one habit at a time, literally like what is 1% better? Like you're eating cookies for breakfast, no lunch, and tons of, rice and sauce and desserts and things, for dinner. Like just take one of those meals and focus on it. Make that meal, 1% better, 1% better, 1% better. And when you find you feel a little bit comfortable there, then you can start thinking about another piece. And then, your fitness, you don't have to join, high intensity classes 6 days a week. Just go for a walk and just kind of take that mentality. But when it comes to goal setting, the beginning of the year is nice. It's a good clean slate. It's good to look back at the year and say, like, what did I appreciate over this last year? What would I like to bring more of into my life? So I think people have gotten now more into like setting an intention for the year. So rather than like a resolution, it's kind of like, what do I want this year to be about? It's kind of finding things that they value. And it's like, how am I going to make that more part of more of my daily life and going that route? And I think that's a smart way to kicking off the year and kind of reflecting and looking back, but absolutely goal setting. I think, and every day you should be looking at what are the most important tasks I need to get done today and what is that leading me to?
Yeah, I think, guys, we did a good job at not selling the idea of going to get a gym membership or selling the idea of getting a PT, no offense, or to anyone. It's not selling that idea of buying the new gizmo out. It's selling the idea of actually
lifestyle
change,
sorry, there's no other way around it.
Dude, start tomorrow. Like, don't wait till January 1st. Like, put the cigarette down, put all the nasty food down, throw the chips bag out, and, just start up. It's not hard. It really isn't hard. It takes maybe work.
Even that 1% is just seeing if the chip bag can last one day longer in your house.
Yeah.
It's you just got to look at the level you're at and just ask yourself what's just a little bit better.
See, I'm always chasing Liam. It's hard.
Yeah, you're trying to go to 100%.
I'm always chasing Liam. It's so hard. It's hard chasing. I see this guy lifting. I'm like, man, that's my goal. 100-pound squat. That ain't never happening.
Never say never, man. Never say never.
Have you seen my size? I ain't getting any younger, buddy.
Bit mobility, strength through range of motion.
We'll get
different genetics.
We'll get there. I know, right?
Being half black. You'll get there.
I know, right? Hey, actually, my grandfather's black, dude.
Yeah. They're good.
Yeah.
Well, why are you not scoring 400 pounds?
Very, very dark. Dude, my dad's 6'4". My
good.
mother screwed me.
So, like,
my mother screwed me in height. She's like 4'11".
Yeah.
It was kind of like meeting in the middle somewhere. Horrible.
But we should have an episode on why Mahdi can't squat 400 pounds. That's the next one.
Ooh.
Being a victim of your genetics.
See that? I gave him a compliment there.
I missed it.
I gave him
I missed that one as well.
Is it 2 against 1?
Timestamp that as well, and we'll make sure everybody knows.
On that note, everybody, start tomorrow. Get out there, move around. Take your kid, take your dog for a walk or whatever. And
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Do more. There we go.
Thanks for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed it, please head over to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. You can also find us on Instagram at The Project Kuwait. Thank you, and join us next time.